Hello and welcome to my Friday Sews, a concept developed by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. So today I have some sustainable sewing to show you, some sewing for myself. I have actually made myself a couple of garments and a little fabric haul and some plans. So I've got some patterns to show you as well. So I'm going to start with the sustainable sewing. It is a little bit early, my Friday sews. Today is Tuesday the 17th of May 2022. The reason I'm doing this early is because I want to have time to edit it and get it uploaded in time for Friday. I'm also going to pop some timestamps in so you can flick to different chapters if you so wish to do so. But I hope you will stay and watch the vlog. So we're going to start off with some sustainable sewing. So I've had this fabric and I've still got quite a bit left now in my stash for a long time. It's a jersey. It's grey with a little blue spot on which is sparkly, and I bought it to make myself a top, and then my eldest granddaughter came one weekend, saw it and decided she'd like a t-shirt made out of it, so we made her a top. But I had quite a bit left over. So I purchased this pattern. It's Simplicity 1332. I could make quite a few garments for my two younger granddaughters from this pattern out of scraps of jersey. So that's what I've done. Now the skirt, funnily enough, is not out of jersey. The skirt is made for cotton. But I'll bring up the line drawing so you can see that a little bit more closely. So I have made a pair of leggings. For my granddaughter. I think this is a size for an age 6. And I made the cardigan. So this has one frill at the back, and then at the front it has 2. That's quite cute. She's already tried it on. She loves it. Now, the one thing, if I made this again, I have overstretched it slightly there. It does, the pattern suggests that you use a bias tape around the edging. And this is quite a flimsy jersey. So I did start to put bias tape on, but it stiffened the fabric and it looked funny. It didn't hang right. So I had to take the bias off, and it stretched that little bit there. But I mean, they're only for playing out and tiddling around the gardening. So yeah. So she's got this and the matching leggings. But I made the Blackwood cardigan not so long ago in this beautiful grey ponte. Well, I had a bit left of that, and guess what I did? I made a top for my grandson. Now this time I decided to put a V-neck in. So I watched a couple of YouTube channels, and I'll pop the links into those down below. And yeah, this is the first time I've made a V-neck in this way. So I was really pleased. So that's another one. And my last one is another scrap from a Blackwood cardigan make. And this was in the mustard. And I've made my grandson a pair of leggings. So yeah. So that's all my sustainable sewing for this month. Got quite a lot of scraps sewn up, made into little garments, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with that, because it's lovely when you can use up your scraps of fabric, and yeah, frees up more room, doesn't it, for my dress what I've made. So I have lost my sojo a little bit, I must admit. I love sewing clothes, but I haven't been making much for myself because I don't know, with putting weight on, and I'm not just blaming the lockdown. You know, there's a number of things. I've recently retired. You're not moving around so much. I used to like sewing clothes and going to work in my different clothes, and when you're at home all day, you tend to just, well, you're not dressing up, are you? So I've made a concerted effort to make myself something, and then what motivated me even more was the fact that Sew Over It have just brought out their new ebook, Vintage Dreaming, and let me tell you, I love the vintage aesthetic. And when I saw the book and what was in the book, and the lovely Lisa and all the models modelling the clothes, you know, I just fell in love with the patterns. So I immediately purchased the book, and I've downloaded the Vera dress pattern because I thought that's the first one I want to do. Now, I've had this fabric in my stash for a long time. It's like a cotton, but it feels like a cotton lawn, but I don't think it is. It might be like a viscose cotton. I don't know. It feels like cotton, but it crumples very easily. And I bought this from Minerva Craft. I purchased this initially to make a shift dress. You know, the Sew Over It shift dress. So, yeah, what's the adage? Measure twice, cut once. Well, I couldn't remember what I'd bought the fabric for until I started cutting out, but that's another story. So I decided I was going to make the Vera dress. I love the frill round the collar. Well, you can see I haven't got the frill on, but I'll explain why. And I love the frill and the long sleeves. I was going to make the long sleeves version. And we were going to a concert on the Monday. We were going to drive to Buxton, and we were staying overnight in the Grand Hotel, and we were going to the Opera House to watch Steel Eye Span. So, yeah, I thought, oh, I'm going to really make an effort, and instead of going out in my black trousers like I usually do, because they're the only things what fit me, I'm going to make myself a dress, and I'm going to make the Vera dress. So I got this fabric out, and I thought, right, here we go. Boo-boo was is that when I pulled the fabric, it said 3 on it. Now I didn't know, was that 1.5 meters, 3 meters? I wasn't quite sure. But when I laid the fabric out, it looked like I'd got 3 meters. So I started cutting out, and then realised that I hadn't got enough for the sleeves. So I thought, no problems, I'll make the fluted sleeve version. But then I hadn't got enough for the frill round the neck, which I'm quite disappointed about. Had I been a little bit more careful when I laid out the pattern pieces and decided where I should have put them to get the optimum out of my fabric, I may have got the long sleeves out of the fabric and also the frill, but never mind. So, yeah, So I cut out, I decided I'd have to do the V-neck, and I cut out a size 22. So when it come to measuring myself, so I thought I'd better take some new measurements with the recent weight gain. So over it, don't measure the high bust like most patterns. They measure the fullness. So I measured the fullness, and I measured, you know, my waist and hip. And the waist and hip were coming out at 22. Although I knew in my heart of hearts, I knew that what I should have done is cut out a 20 for the top and blended out to a 22. But I was a little bit concerned that the sleeves wouldn't fit, because at the time I was going to do the long sleeve version, until I started cutting out and then realised I hadn't got enough fabric and I had to go for the fluted sleeve. But anyhow, that's a lesson learned. But I do love the dress, but if I made it again, I would definitely go for a 20. So that's good news for me. I might be a little bit more prudent. I make myself a toile and do a adjustment at the back, because I've got quite a bad curvature in my back, and maybe size down a little bit here, maybe to an 18, and do a full bust adjustment and then blend out to a 20. That's what I think I would do next time, because the whole idea of making clothes is that we make clothes to fit ourselves, but I was just impatient, and I wanted to get the dress done. So I'm going to pop some footage of me now wearing this dress, and yeah, I just love it. And I'll talk a little bit more in a moment about the velvet cardigan I'm wearing in the clip. But yeah, like I say, it's a little bit big here, which I knew it would be, see, because, you know, as I've got older, this is that your chest does go in, and yeah, you need to do the full bust adjustments. Oh well, you live and learn. So here's the clip of me wearing the dress. The other thing as well I would do personally is when I came to hem this up, no matter how careful I was, the hemming was showing through. So where there are white, I'll stand up and show you. So where there are white flowers, I've actually hemmed that in white cotton, and where it gets darker, I've used the darker cotton. Looking back now, I should have just hemmed it. Just so, you know, turned it up and just sewed a straight seam. You know, just if the stitching showed, does it matter? But we live and learn. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I don't like having too much of my décolletage on show. I don't, I must admit. I think when you get older, especially mine hasn't aged well, because I'm an 80s gal where we used to do a lot of sunbathing, so it doesn't look as pretty, should I say. You know, in the summer it's lovely, and then as night draws in and it gets a bit cooler, I've just popped a cardigan on. So yeah, I'm really pleased. Now, to make it extra special, when I went out that night, I wore it with a velvet cardigan. Now, I made this, I think I made it a couple of years ago now. And this is a McCall's M7254. So I'll pop a picture in to show you that pattern and the line drawings. So this is the cardigan, and I made the longer version. But I love this. You know, sometimes when you just make something quickly and it turns out really good. And it was a cheap velvet I bought from Abercorns. I mean, no one's going to know that, are they? Well, they do now, because I've told them. Dressed it up. So, yeah, this is my Vera dress. So, plans now. You know, I'd like to make another dress from the Vintage Dreaming ebook. And on Sunday, I popped into Abercorns, which is quite a big fabric shop local to me. And I spotted this viscose crepe. So I purchased 4 yards of this. Well, we have to purchase in meters. And this came out at £26. So this is the fabric. And I thought it looked really pretty. And I know I'm holding this up to the light, but it has got quite good opacity? I can never say it, but you can't see through it as well. I wear slip anyway. And I thought I would make the Marilyn dress in this. It's absolutely beautiful. So over it, to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee, are releasing tea dress patterns half price. And yesterday, they were selling the Ada dress 50% off. So I decided I would download that pack because I thought this would look nice for the Ada dress as well. And plus I want to also grow my sewing skills, and the sleeves, the cuffs are shirred with elastic. They use shearing elastic, which for those of you probably know, on the sewing bee last week, yes, we got the sewing bee back, it's great fun. They were having to use shearing elastic. Fancy having a go at that. So I'm a little bit in between two minds here, whether to go for the Marilyn dress or for the Ada. But anyhow, I've bought the pattern just in case while it was half price, but I can't wait to make myself a dress in this. So that is that one. And then I think I showed this a couple of vlogs ago. I bought this, it's a double cotton gauze to make my granddaughter's a dress. This was from Abercorns as well. And I've bought pattern. So this is Simplicity 1211. And I thought that short dress there would look nice in this double gauze. So I'll be making that as well. Also, they had a Vogue half price sale on. This was for most sewing outlets were selling, having this sale on for the Vogue patterns. And I've purchased this one. So this goes for size 2 to 5. and it's got this little adorable frill on the bottom. So I'll show you the line drawings, so you can have long sleeve, short sleeve. And I also purchased myself this dress. Now I wouldn't make this dress this short. I'll probably make it a little bit longer, but I do like that detail around the neck, the contrast. I like that. It's a lined fitted dress, and you can have epaulets, so as you can see these are like epaulets there, and the centre front banding has got the button trim. It says it's a 3-piece satin sleeve with cuff detail. So when I look at the line drawings, it looks like the sleeve isn't cut out as one, which that can be a bit of a pain, I suppose, but yeah, not quite sure why they would do that. It might come to light when I'm making it. But the 3-piece satin sleeves with the cuff detail, patch pockets, I'm not bothered about pockets. We got the invisible back zipper, and they have separate pattern pieces for cup sizes. Now the fabrics for this are wool crepe, gabardine or a linen. So it looks like there'll be another little trip up to Abercorns for that. But I want to make the contrast if I can. I think that's lovely. And I think as well, if you can make it in a darker colour and have the lighter around the neck, that can be quite flattering. So there we go. That's my Friday sale. Friday sews topics that are suggested by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. So for Friday the 13th, Jen asked if we'd ever had any malfunctions with any garments that we had made, and basically were we wearing it at the time, what happened and what did we do. There's a couple of ones which bring to mind. The first one wasn't a garment I made, it was a swimming costume. So when I was 10 years old, we were in our last year at primary school, and we used to go to the swimming baths once a week. So the school coach would take us to the swimming baths and for our swimming lessons, you see. I don't think this happens now in the UK, but when I was a child we all had free swimming lessons. So we always used to put our swimming costumes on underneath our clothes, so when we got to the swimming baths we could just take our clothes off and we had our swimming costume on ready. Anyhow, some bright spark on the coach shouted out, "Last one in the water is a bad egg." So my friend said to me, "Have you got your swimming costume on?" And I said, "No, it's in my bag." And she said, "So's mine." So she said, instead of, because we used to share, all the girls used to share a cubicle, she said, instead of sharing a cubicle, we'll go in a cubicle on our own and try and get us costumes on as quickly as possible. I said, yes, good idea. So as soon as we got to the swimming baths, we went in to the cubicles. Now these used to be really quite dire. They were a coal tiled floor because it was an open air swimming pool, and in England it was quite cold even in the summer, and you had these wooden doors and it was really dark. So I just stripped off my clothes and I pulled my swimming costume on as quickly as I could, ran out of the cubicles and ran along, you know, out to the swimming pool. And there was just 2 people in the swimming pool. I'd been that quick. And I never forget, it was my friend Reef and this lad. And this lad was looking at me rather bemused. And my friend pointed, laughing, going, "You've got your swimming costume on back to front." And when I looked down, it was and it was a low one as well, so just had two straps and then a very low back. So yeah, I soon ran back round to my cubicle and righted the wrong. So that was my swimming costume story. I've got one malfunction wardrobe of a garment I made, and I'm going to put the offending garment on now. Okay, this is it. This is the Anderson blouse, and it's a pattern by Sew Over It. So this was a kit I bought. I used to love it when they did the kits, because you used to get the paper pattern and the fabric. And this fabric, I'll bring it up a little bit closer. It really is a beautiful fabric. It's called Little Foxes. So let me tell you what happened. And I'm thinking, if anyone's made this blouse, they probably know what I'm going to say. So I'll talk a little bit about the blouse. Now, the reason why it's called the Anderson blouse is because in 2013 there was a crime series filmed. You can still see it on Netflix, and it's called The Fall. And if you haven't seen The Fall, I strongly recommend that you watch it. It is a really good, gripping crime drama. And Gillian Anderson plays the detective in this, who's in charge of running the show. And she wears these beautiful, iconic silk blouses. So this is one of the blouses she wears. It's sort of like a wrap over. So that's what Sew Over It have done. They've developed a blouse based loosely on one of these blouses that she wears. And in fact, during the series, on one of the episodes, Gillian Anderson is giving, well, the detective is giving a press conference, and her blouse actually falls open and reveals the top of her bra, you see, and she's most annoyed when she finds out what's happened. So that gives you another clue to my malfunction. So let me tell you a little bit about this blouse. So I've got it all written down here, so I'll keep glancing at my notes. So it's a wrap front, and it closes at the hem with a drawstring. Now, I read somewhere that you don't have to put the drawstring in, and I never have. I just hem up the blouse and then just leave it loose, because I tuck it into my skirt, you see, or trousers. I never have it outside a garment. I always tuck it in. Sew Over It do recognise that it could fall open, and they suggest you put a stitch in level with your bust points, you see, here. And I don't know what, I think I put my stitch a little bit lower. I put my stitch in down here, you see. So I put this blouse on one morning for work. At the time I was based at the police station. Well, it was the headquarters, you see. And the room was quite big, the office. And my desk was right down the bottom end of the office, you see. So I had to walk past quite a few people to get to my desk, which was really right at the end. So this particular morning I walked in, said good morning to everyone, walking down to my desk, and there's police there and the social workers I'm walking past, morning. And when I sat down, I realised that this, I mean, I can't open it out here, but this was completely open, and all my bra was on show, all of it. It was just like, it was just closed here and the rest was all open. And I just sat down, and when I looked down I thought, ooh, I put it right. And that's what I did. I just sort of put it right, and I think I asked someone for a safety pin, and because because I'm not prepared like Christine from Christine Sews a Lot. So I just indiscreetly popped a pin in, a little safety pin, to keep the blouse together for the rest of the day. So yeah, that was my malfunction. I mean, I was absolutely, oh gosh, I was mortified to think that I'd walked through the office in front of everyone with everything on show and no one said anything to me. They were probably a bit shocked. So anyhow, that's my malfunction. So the other question was for this Friday is, are you team florals or team geometric abstract? So I don't like abstract or geometric patterns on fabrics unless they're very subtle, but it just reminds me of the 80s. Although I was a teenager in the 70s, when it come to the 80s, sort of in my late teens going on into my 20s, and I can remember some of the fabrics were just hideous. They were, you know, there was a lot of purple and triangular, and oh, even the earrings were like yellow triangles, or oh no. I was glad really when the new romantic era come out, because I like to wear more frills and lace. I'm not geometric or abstract at all. So the other topic she mentions is it's going to be Memorial Day apparently in the United States, and they celebrate, and it's a little bit similar to our Poppy Day in the UK. And she asks, do we have anything handmade to display? Well, we are coming up to our Queen's Jubilee. So our Queen is 70 years on the throne. It'll be her platinum jubilee. Now I've been watching. Now let me just get this right. It's Judy from Running So and So, and I'll just pop a link up to her channel because it was really good, and she was making some Jubilee bunting, and this was by Lewis and Irene, and I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. Now I found my little tin here. And I remember a very, very long time ago, it's probably more than 10 years now. Looks like I've made some little coasters, but I haven't bound them. But this is a fabric called London by Macaway. And yeah, thought I'll finish these coasters off for a start. But with the rest of the fabric, I'll perhaps make some bunting. And look at this one I've got here. There's quite a big piece of this. You might recognise that fabric. This is the fabric what is showcased on the Sewing Bee programme. You know, when the credits first run through and they make a dress. This is the actual fabric. And it was called London Stripe, the Henley Studio by Macaway. Yeah. So that's quite a sizable piece, that one is. So that's what I think I'll be making, is some bunting. So yeah, I shall get my tin out, and yeah, I mean there's a big piece here. I didn't realise I've got these huge pieces. But yeah, Judy inspired me to make some bunting. I thought, what a good idea. So that's what I will be doing, and I'll show you how I get on my next Friday sews. So thank you for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, and if you've enjoyed this vlog, please subscribe, tap the bell, and you'll be notified whenever I upload a vlog. So until next time, Thank you for watching and enjoy your sewing. Bye.